So hey everybody, thanks for joining me at this meetup. I've been too busy to really plan this one out, same as usual, but I figure I would like to show some of the beta features that I'm currently working on and show a couple bundles that have been sent to me. And yeah, maybe talk about the production updates. I've been super busy with both the beta version of the software that adds a lot of stuff and the production run. Yesterday I gave the green light to go ahead and make all of the aluminum CNC milled cases. I got one sample back last week, put it together, and it's super great. So that's awesome. I also received all of the batteries this last week for all units, which was worrisome initially because they were out of stock magically when I needed to order them about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But luckily, I was able to get them all. And finalizing the zipper case that's going to come with the production unit. That's still being finalized, but hopefully I get those started in the next week or so. I don't know. I still need to find out if I need to find out the ETAs on both the zipper case and the CNC aluminum body or chassis that goes on the M8. If either of those two items, I don't know how long it's going to take them to make those, the factories. So, but when I get word back on how long it's going to take, hopefully they'll be in June, so that way it doesn't delay shipping. But if one of those two items I get in July, I obviously can't fulfill all the orders the same, few weeks that I get them back. But I'll keep everybody posted. I think more than a month is long enough for those things to be manufactured, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. Also doing I have all of the components for the circuit boards, which is great because we're in a gigantic parts shortage right now. But I have a meeting to finalize the assembly house to get them started on the remainder of the units that need to be made. I have some minor changes I have to go over with them before we actually start on those. But those should only take a couple weeks, so I'm not super worried about it. But yeah, guess I'll start my M8 camera stream again, and I could show you some stuff. Go to a new project. And this stream, I'm using the production M8 unit that I have, the only unit I currently have. But it's running the beta software as well, so hopefully it'll play the bundles that I received properly. But if it doesn't, sorry in advance. I figure what better way to have issues than to have it real time in front of everybody. Let me look at my list. I made a list. I'm gonna look at it. Of all there's so many changes that are in this version, it's hard for me to remember them all. So one major change that just recently happened, let me start a new instrument of some generic kind. One thing that changed, there we go, just recently, as of yesterday, is the mixer screens volumes here. They used to be in post mode, which would be post effects, which would mean if I turn down the volume here, you would still hear the volume coming out of the reverb since I signed a bunch of reverb to it. But now they're all in pre, and there's several advantages to doing it that way. One is it makes it a little bit easier to do your final mixing. And another thing is it makes for when you ever, if you ever MIDI map this thing, you could easily, you know, mute and unmute different channels on like a MIDI control fader or the touchscreen here, like what I just did. Yeah, it just makes that whole thing make a little bit more sense. As well, there's now these new volume commands for each mixer channel, which makes that also make a lot more sense now that it's in pre as opposed to post. I wonder if I could do this. I'm going to do something funny here with this pre and post thing. Give me a second to set it up. Maybe not 50, about 90. But what I can do with that, I'm going to change that to track 2. Oh. It's have like a drum. Sorry, I'm setting up just a generic little pattern here. Have the snare be reverbed out. So I have this command on track 1 that's controlling the volume of track 2. Which I don't know if that could be useful or not, but it's pretty neat that you can do it. Obviously, they're a little steppy because we're running them at, 16 note increments here. It's changing the volume. But maybe for slow changes, it'd be pretty neat. Like if I did, let's start from 1 and go to F. Yeah, I don't know, you get the idea. Let's see, going over my list. Yeah, it's kind of a sort of side chain, but it's a little bit sketchy. Actually, I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna make that sound. Maybe I can't clean it up, can I? I was thinking maybe I could use a table to automate it, but I need a really long table to do it right. I don't know. They're there. Might be cool as a gating effect even. I'm gonna try that. That one. And hop. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a cool thing to have. It might be unpractical most of the time, but maybe for doing experimental stuff, it'd be pretty sweet. Oh yeah, that's true. That's a really good idea. I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna try. Let's say. Let's do. Start at E. Bear with me. I go down to like 9. Yeah. And then back up to E. Oops, I just muted the channel. And then I'm gonna set the groove of the first track to 1. C, and do some math. It'd be 6 steps, E steps, and it'd be this one. Meh, kind of has a zippery effect. I don't know if it's there. It might change. It might improve. If somebody has suggestions, I will think about it. But it's there. I'm gonna do a new song here. The other cool new thing is this DJ filter. It's a global filter that's applied to the entire song. I'm gonna load up. A demo song, maybe. This one. And I'm gonna assign this. No, I won't assign it. I'll just tweak it. I need to turn down my volume. It's really hot on this song. So the thing with a DJ filter is the center point. Basically, there's no filter, and if you go up from center, it's a high pass filter, and if you go down from center, it's a low pass filter. I'm gonna assign it to a knob. I have a fader fox set up here that's sitting next to me. I'm gonna make sure that the
always fixed, or is it scaled in any way?
What? Scaled? Is what scaled?
Yeah. And sorry?
What do you mean?
There's when you go all the way up to the treble.
Yeah.
The peak value can make it a little bit sharp.
Yeah. And they're currently independently controlled. It doesn't change the peak, if that's the question. So, yeah, I don't dynamically change the resonance. So I guess it's kind of not the world's best DJ filter because you don't really have that peak control automatically mapped, if that's what your question is. I don't know if that answers it or not. Also, you can see I MIDI mapped this knob to it. Yeah, let me show you how that worked. So for those that do not know, I need to move my mic a little bit. On the hardware, you have MIDI mapping, a MIDI mapping screen. Oh, yeah, even on headless, it's here. But in order to MIDI map a value, let's say any value in the mixer screen or any value that has a slider in the instrument screen, you just hold down the option key and
That's neat.
and turn a knob, and it learns it automatically. And you could edit that mapping in this mapping screen. So you can see I have two mappings here, and you can see that one's assigned to the DJF cut, and the other one's assigned to the DJF res. So, and when I turn the value, you could see it actually change here. So yeah, it's really simple to set up custom mappings, and that's all per song basis. Yeah, the other thing that's new with the production unit is it has a chip on there, so I could switch the MIDI MIDI A or MIDI B for the 3.5 millimeter jack. There's two different standards, quote unquote standards, and on the production unit, there's everybody has this, but this only works actually on the production unit to switch between the different types because it needs a special chip to do that. Like the Fader Fox stuff is all that MIDI type B, which is pretty neat because now I just have a little, 3.5 millimeter jack between the unit and this tiny mixer, so it makes things pretty easy. You could also, there's also a command now for, let me start a new thing here, and there's also a new DJ filter command as well, if you want that steppiness via song control, you can do it. It was obviously designed for something like a MIDI controller or using a touchscreen, because it gives you a finer resolution than per step automation, but it's still nice to have, I guess, if you want to try experimenting with that. I'm gonna go up to like C. Would not suggest turning the peak all the way up. No, it's not available as an LFO or envelope destination because it's yeah, because it'd be confusing because it's a global thing and not an instrument specific thing. So it'd be weird to have that on the instrument page. But hopefully in the future, one of the things on my future features list is to have like a global instrument or a way to control stuff like the all the effects commands via an instrument. So it'd be cool to have kind of some utility instrument, some utility type instruments for doing stuff like that. But for now, all you have access to is commands or MIDI control. I'm just glad it's here. I wanted this since some point last year where I was like, I could use this now for my live sets. If only it had a built-in master filter that I could control, then I wouldn't need a lot more of my hardware when I play live. So it's there. So let's see. Let me go over my list and see what else I got. Retrig. So this is gonna go into the weeds a little bit on topics. But this newest beta, I changed some of how Retrig works. So Retrig initially had a couple values that were repeats, like Retrig 00. Since the second digit, the digit on the left on this Retrig command is the number of ticks, there is no such thing as zero number of ticks. So originally I just had 0 be the same thing as 1. So if you did a retrig 0, you were technically doing a retrig 1, which is just a retrigger of the instrument at every 1 tick. Now I have 0 equal off, or when you have both the left and right digit of this retrig command 0, it'll stop doing whatever retrig was there. And then if you load in an old song that uses this original feature, it's automatically converted to increment any retrig commands to, +1. So that way it still works. So old songs should still work the same. It just automatically converts them when you load them in. Most of the changes that are in this version, this is a major version increment. So a lot of the stuff is changing, and there's a migration that happens when you load in an old song to make sure that it still works the same. The fact that we added another LFO and a bunch of other stuff means that there was some memory that needed to be moved around. But it doesn't overwrite your old song. It just temporarily, when it loads it in and transcribes it to the new version, and it won't proactively save that transition. You have to manually save the song. So if you want to make sure that your song still works on the old version, you could always make a backup before you save over it, or save the new one as a different, version number or something. But there's some other stuff that's changed with Retrig as well. So the original Retrig, since this, what I said earlier, the right digit 0 is didn't do anything. It was effectively the same thing as saying 1. That means every left digit increment basically was all the same behavior. It didn't change anything. So I kind of repurpose those empty values into doing something useful. And a lot of them have more to do with using retrig in a table than they do using retrig in a phrase. Well, let me show you some of those. So retrig off, any other value here, it's the same as the old behavior. This is all the same as the old stuff. But as soon as you have 0 in the right column, it's going to be a whole different set of features. So retrig once in 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 4 ticks, 5 ticks, 6. So if I have this retrig 60, that's going to retrigger this guy right here. Yeah. And again, it doesn't make too much sense, but it makes a lot more sense, I think, when you're using it inside of a table to do special kind of arpeggio behaviors. I'm going to do that now by setting the table ticks to 6. That way the table's kind of in line with the phrase. If I wanted to do retrig here. So you can see now you can kind of use the table as like its own little sequencer, even more so than you could before. By using retrigger, you're basically retriggering the entire instrument, but not resetting the table, which is another little piece of information that changed with this retrig update. I can also do, say, retrig 6. That way it's always retriggering. So yeah, you could do some pretty interesting arpeggio type stuff now, I think, in using the table in combination with retrig. Let's do... This is kind of ridiculous. But you get the idea. I like making like the worst songs ever live. Yeah. Pretty nifty. And of course we could do that new stop feature. You get the idea, I think. Yeah, that makes it much more usable parameter in table. Which before it was pretty silly even using it in a table. So thanks to the Discord users who pointed out that Retrig was really weird in a table. And that's because it was never designed to be used in a table. Yeah, and of course with nth and all the new features that I showed at the last meetup, it's pretty crazy types of things you could do in M8. So I'm going to switch this up to an FM synth. So somebody said that they didn't understand the whole mod thing down here in the FM synth. And basically what it is a way for you to set up macros to modulate the 4 operators. So if I want to modulate this level parameter here, I could set it to like the highest value I want it to go to. And then I will set up this number 1. It says number 1's now controlling level. And 1 refers to mod 1. So it's just a way for you to basically map what you want to be modifiable outside of the FM synth or assigned to an LFO, you know. I wonder if I could do both of these on mod 1, but this one be a little swirly. Needs to be faster, I think, maybe. Yeah, you get the idea. It's getting annoying to listen to, though. It's getting angry. Let's see, MIDI settings. So I was gonna assign the fader fox to that cutoff value, but the fader fox kind of uses all MIDI channels depending on what knob you're using. At least this specific unit that I have here, so it was set up on the wrong MIDI control channel. Yeah, I get the idea. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. Somebody asked if M8 will be able to open LSDJ song files. No, or at least not directly. It's not really directly compatible with LSDJ. I mean, somebody could make a script or something probably to convert, so that at least that way you have like the note data and that kind of stuff. But they're pretty different, I think, and not really sounds the same. You know, the really crazy stuff that LSDJ can do, this can do really crazy stuff, but kind of just different sounding. So yeah, I need to get something to drink, but maybe I'll wait until I have 3 bundles I could play, so maybe I'll go get one. I'll get one when the bundle's playing back, and when I come back, hopefully it hasn't crashed or something ridiculous. I come back and my studio's on fire. That's what's gonna happen. Maybe I should go into the bundles now, unless we want to play any more with any of the new features. Let me go over my feature list one more time to make sure I didn't miss something. As far as 1.4 goes, I'll just say this. I'm not adding anything else to it. There's already too much on it. But there still needs to be some help text in areas that are currently missing. And I think that's what I need to kind of concentrate on. That and any of the production unit changes that aren't finalized. I know we went over nth and the seed command last meetup. There's been one change that I made recently where it's not in the beta yet, but I said last meetup I think that the sed command, the random seed command, was global, but now it's not. It's per track, which is useful. Yeah, going over the list, it looks like everything has been already covered in the previous meetup. There's been like one major thing that I spent some time on. I was running out of RAM. I only have 1 megabyte of RAM on the hardware, and it's divided up, and a lot of code needs to be in memory. So it gets really easy to consume all of the memory, especially with stuff like reverb and delay and the audio stuff that needs a lot of space to work. But I was able to clear a good 10% of the usage, I think yesterday or the day before, which is pretty significant. It was my dumbness of not really looking at the Braids code base through enough, there were areas that I realized where it was still using a lot of memory that I didn't notice before, which could have been shared with other stuff. So I ended up finding that and making it a little smaller. Yeah, so scan S if the meetups are recorded. Yeah, they're on all previous meetups are put on YouTube on the Dirty Wave channel, and you can find a link to the YouTube page on dirtywave.com at the bottom. I guess I could try making a little track just for the sake of it, but it's kind of embarrassing to try to make a song, but because it always sounds terrible, you know? Like, I don't know. It's like drawing in front of people, thinking that they're judging you when you're drawing something, but really nobody is. You just feel that way, and then you can't write anything. It's that weird pressure. Let me load some percussion and start from there. Maybe not a 727. I'll just go with my good old slice kit. Is it 112? Yeah. So what I just did there is there's this sample that's a bunch of different drums evenly spaced. And then there's a slice mode in the sampler that chops up the sample into an even number of slices. So they're all the same length slices. And this drum collection is it's 70 in hex. Yeah, it's 112 samples. And the slice mode automatically maps them to note. In case you didn't know that, that's what I did. So I'm gonna set up like a basic subtractive synth using the FM synth. Because that's what we do. Ooh. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use some of the new features. If you saw there, I just created a cloned chain at the end because I was gonna make a change, but instead I'm gonna try using the nth feature and do this. Oh, I can't do that. It needs to be there. Yeah. Okay. So nth. I don't even remember how nth works, but I'm gonna try it. Left on 4. That's it. I think I have that one. Yeah. It's so weak sounding, but it's cool that it works. Let's try. I'm gonna use another nth here for. Oh, that's such a good thing. I could do that. Yeah, right on 5. That makes sense. Yeah. This is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna do. I want to do a cutoff swell, so the cutoff starts at where it's at now and slowly goes up over time. But I'm not gonna duplicate the phrase. Shouldn't that work? Maybe it's not gonna work. Oh, I see. It has to be on. Wait. Oh, wait. First and fifth. Yeah, that's right. Oh. Maybe that counter is wrong. First and third. First and fourth, fifth and... Yeah, this counter is wrong. Why is that text? It's not the counters are not wrong. Sorry, the help text is wrong, I think. For this first and thing. Why did it reset? Oh, it probably hit maximum, didn't it? No? So confused. But yeah, I think that's the problem with rep, is once it gets to past a certain point, it kind of gives up. Is it hitting that again? Yeah, it is hitting it again. Let's see. I'm so confused right now. Maybe the nth counter isn't working as expected. Let's see. I'm trying to do too much with nth, I think is what the problem is. Only first, how about that? Still resets. Why you do this to me? That looks like a bug, perhaps. I guess that's good that I'm testing it now, huh? Maybe it's not. I'm getting really confused though, so I'm gonna quit that swell thing. This is such a weird way to try to write music, by the way, using the nth commands. All right. Can't say I didn't try to write a song. Let's say this guy. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I will try to look up occasionally. Hello, Mikey. Hope you had a good nap.
I had a wonderful nap. Thank you for asking.
Hope I didn't interrupt it. So I'm going to set up some chords here. As soon as I remember how.
I hope I didn't miss too much.
No.
Looks like you started a little late.
Yeah, I started at 4 in the hope that some more of the folks in Australia would join in because with the daylight savings time, I think it went back for them and forward for us or something. So the time difference now is pretty extreme, I think.
I think the solution for that is for them to move out of Australia.
I think the
Problem
solution.
solved.
I'm gonna move to New Zealand. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. Even better idea.
Sounds a little crunchy. It's probably that. I bet you the sine sounds better for this. Yeah, it does. What am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? C3-5, yeah. What note am I doing? This one. F sharp. Sounds wrong. Maybe not. Maybe I'm delusional. Let's see. Mod 5. Mod 3. M3. Oh. Let's see. I'm gonna do that. First steps, volume. LFT. Funny. LF. Trigger. Wait, that could be 0. Yeah. I'm kind of giving up. I'm giving up, guys. Oh, look at that mistake. Where is that? See, that's what's terrible about nth is it doesn't quite work when I'm previewing. Screw it. We're going back to normal. I'm gonna make that 0 and gonna put in a kill command. Oh, that's going to be weird. On 5. All right, let's try that. That didn't work at all. Oh, because it's looping, huh? Can't really do that. Oh well. Here, check this out. I could clone, and then I could put a kill. And get rid of that. Trying to do everything using the nth command and driving myself nuts. This is fascinating because I'm finding out little things here and there. So I've been so busy working with production and working on the beta firmware that I haven't spent. This is like probably the longest I've spent actually playing on an M8 in at least a couple since last meetup. So I'm finding out some interesting things. Like there's some aliasing on some of these new shapes, and I need to double check some math that I did for that to make sure I didn't make an amateur mistake there. But yeah, I guess lesson learned for myself here is I shouldn't work so much, and I should spend more time trying to use the thing that I actually am making. Okay, these ints are driving me nuts. I don't like ints. That's my new decision. I'm not going to get rid of it. I just don't like trying to compose with it. I thought it'd be funny to try it, but it's really great for, you know, doing little drum fills. It's really terrible for trying to write a melody or any kind of rhythm or, yeah, any kind of melodic line with it. I'm like totally lost trying to use it. I wonder if I could actually... I was about to do a clone of that bass synth because I felt it doesn't have enough low end in it, but actually I could probably just tweak the algorithm a little bit here. Oh, I see. It's because I'm doing this amp and limit here, so it's kind of getting rid of the low end a bit. I should just modulate that instead. pretty weird. Some crappy EDM drums. Right here. And a little kick always right here. You're doing too much. Too many notes. So, Mikey, you want to sing over this for me, and I'll sample it back in.
Yeah, let's go.
If a rival was here, they'd MC for me. I'm joking, obviously. You don't need to sing.
I was just doing some warm-ups.
That'd be kind of funny though if I routed the audio from Discord into the M8 so I could actually just resample people. What a mess. I don't know how to save this little line. Yeah, just get rid of it. See, I have a... Oh, I see. I hate everything. That's how I feel like whenever I'm doing stuff in front of people. It's like, yeah, everything sucks. What do you
It's
want
like
me
so
to
much
do?
pressure. You're always trying to get it right the first time, and everyone's like, everyone's watching.
Yeah. Like, this is taking me 10 times longer to get to some reasonable point than it would normally. That pluck is pretty harsh, though. I don't know how I did it. I don't. The trick is with FM is you don't need to understand it. You just keep messing with it until it works. I'm
That's what I
kidding.
do.
I'm kidding. I mean, technically, this line isn't FM at all. The only thing that kind of makes it sound like FM is just because I'm using that sign limiter. Always make this go like that. Yeah. Now it's never going to be aligned with anything. It's perfect. How many repeats does it take for this to get it realigned? Many. What if you did the... What if I did... Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do... Retrig on... Can I even go that far on Retrig? What was that? Math. No, you can't. But I can use the table. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this for science. So that would be right here. Wait, what if I do... Sorry, bear with me. This is not gonna work, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Hop. Yes, it works. I don't know how I would have done that before. That's super cool that I could do that now, though. I guess Retrig is my new hammer because I'm going to use it for everything. I don't know if you see what I did there, but the Retrig and table, there's a bunch of Retrig, and Mikey missed this, so I'm catching them up. There's a bunch of new Retrig commands, right, that I mentioned in the beta. And yeah, I'm using the Retrig in a table now to do that odd time signature, but in a way where I'm not using hop and phrase, so that way it's always aligned with however the song's moving, which is kind of a neat way to go about it, I think.
Wait, what? I'm watching.
What? What do you mean, what? Was that confusing, what I just said?
No. That's more of like a cool.
What?
Yeah, you get it.
What? I wonder if does this actually work? No. That'd be cool if that worked, but you need to retrigger the instrument for that to grab that new pitch offset. Ah, well, can't have everything. That ducking effect I did on the LFO is totally messing with me. I don't even think it's necessary, to be honest with you. But what I wanted to do was kind of a gated thing. Or I was going to play with it anyway. Actually, I could do that in... I'm going to give up, but before I do, I want to see if I could do this. Square down. Oh, and I need a retrig again. I deleted it. See, I found a new bug here. Trying to do... I don't know if you saw that new glitchy bug, but I can't go down because it thinks that there's no instrument here. So in reality, it thinks this screen actually looks like this because there's nothing here. I don't know if it's been like that since 1.3.8, but
I hadn't noticed that either because I use empty step all the time. So it must be new because I haven't encountered that. I mean, I don't think I've tried it since, but it must be new.
it you know, hold on. I'm gonna try this for science. This might be an issue of it trying to. Okay, so it works now. It works now because I put in another. I'm not on this row in song. So what it tries to do is it scans, like when there's no instrument, it can't assume what the instrument is right here. It actually has to scan backwards in the song to figure out the last instrument that was playing, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
I figured that's how it worked.
So on the very first row, on the first phrase row, it can't go back any further, so it just kind of glitches out. So I'll catch that. I'll fix that. This is why I can't write music, by the way. I think if I start turning on the M8 and start trying to make a song, I'll have to stop and start coding. This is why I can't have nice things. Yeah. So what was I doing? Alpha retrigger, that's what I was doing. Oh, and now I could use the new square down thing, can't I? Yes. To do it.
I like the 1 step 2 tick, so it's triplets.
Yeah.
Little triplet gating. It's so cool.
But we could do that now, which is super neat. It's almost like I'm doing it intentionally, trying to find the new features to use them, but I'm totally not, which is kind of cool that they're there. What's that? What? Modulate what?
LFO frequency.
Oh, you know what your problem is? It's this silly Discord audio settings reset back to all the defaults. So you're being severely gated, so I can hardly tell what you're saying. I don't know if that happened to everybody, but it happened on my Mac at home, and it happened in my studio on this machine, which I haven't turned on in like a week.
Oh yeah, all my settings are reset too. Thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah, that's I don't know why they did that other than to piss everybody off.
Anytime they update, I have to redo my keybinds, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, I spent like a good 15 minutes staring at my audio input and output settings in my studio when I turned everything on, because I have a complicated setup here for it doing this stream. and it was all reset to the defaults. And I'm like, okay, what was my audio in, and what was my audio out? Is it possible to modulate the LFO frequency? Yes. Isn't it? Yeah. Like if we wanted to, isn't it? I think it is. I don't know. Why don't you ask somebody who knows? Let's see. LFO1 frequency. Is it relative or absolute? It's absolute. So it's so neat sounding. It's such a mess. I ruined everything. What's going on here? Oh, I see. I'm making a mess. This is perfect. This is my song, everybody. It's just one note. All right, so I'm going to quit while I'm behind, and we're going to listen to some bundles. How about that? You notice I didn't even save the changes. Let's see. I have 3 songs. I think it's these 3. Let me look up real quick here something. Okay. So let's try this one, Psymaker. This is by Avrilcadabra. And it's literally just one phrase. It's a generative macro synth Sandshifter and chiptune song. Is Sandshifter a genre? Is that like a thing? All right, here we go. That seemed like an excellent place to stop. That was amazing. I just didn't know where to stop it. That's pretty cool. Wow. That's just one phrase. Just going nuts. Oh, look at that, using both LFOs. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing it. And this next one, Sandshifter. So Sandshifter is not a genre. It's the name of the other song you sent. I'm an idiot. So this one, at least, I think I'll know where to stop it at. This again, this song is also by Avril. Awesome. I love the Sid lead, or the Sid style lead. It's not Sid necessarily. The PWM lead. Thanks so much for sharing those. Next song is this one, I think. And it's by Cytotoxic. And I think it's generative. That's what it looks like. So I'll be back in 2 hours. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing. I don't know if this played okay or if there is a beta bug. I hope it did. And if not, please let me know in the beta chat. Because it appeared like some of these tracks just stopped on their own accord, and I don't know if that was to plan or not. Mikey, you got any tracks? I'll take that as a you're back to napping.
I may have something. Give me just a second.
I mean, if you want. The floor is now open. I have no more things.
Yeah, I have a work in progress. I had a bunch of tracks that I had made on Nerdsake, and while I don't have the rig anymore, I still happen to have Nerdsake. So I've been transcribing old songs from memory by just looking at the note stuff and remembering, okay, what voices did I use for what? And it's been
Oh, because
pretty
it was
fun.
all your rack stuff.
Yeah, it was all going to all my modules, but now I only have the sequencer itself. So maybe someday I'll put the rig back together. But in the meantime, I really miss my tracks. So there's one I've been working on. It's a little two-step track. I can share my screen. It's not a whole lot, but it's a start, and I'm trying to get the sound right for some of it. So it's a little work in progressy, little whippy. Let me share my screen if I
And
can
let
remember how to
me
do this.
set up the...
Oh, I guess I have to turn on Touch Designer to do that. But I'm gonna turn off my mic, and hopefully the sound is okay. Just give me a second.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. That's my 303.
Did you have to
All right.
reset your Discord settings?
I did. I
Yeah.
should be okay now.
Yeah.
There we go. And I can't even see it. So let me get that going. Here we are. Okay, yeah, this is just a little track I'm working on. It's not a whole lot, but yeah, I'll get that playing. that's all I got. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's sounds not quite right. Everything's a little flat.
How did you do that nice, that okay sounding, I mean, it's not perfect, but how did you do that TB303 sound?
Oh, that's actually my 303. 303 coming in through the input. So that's MIDI.
That's an
And,
emulated 303, right?
It's my emulated 303. I made that with just the wave synth, and post low pass filter. It sounds pretty good, right? Pretty convincing. listen to that accent.
Whoa, how did do you have it MIDI mapped or something?
Yeah, that's my touch screen going to the cutoff. Yeah.
That's actually
I
a
just-
303. I was joking, obviously.
I just realized I think this track needs distortion, so I'm gonna switch the filter to post for that. So thank you for reminding me. Anyway, yeah. And then I have this just this big. This is just a little FM guy here, and all it does is there's an envelope going to the levels of this and the feedback here on this one, and that just causes it to get that little whoomp. And then I like using the band stop just for especially for anything that has kind of a formant sound. The band stop can really help you hone in like the actual frequency where the kind of vocally stuff is, or just like the high pass filter, you can have it down here low on the cutoff, and it'll give you a little boost in the bass section.
That's actually not a band stop. That's a band stow.
Oh, band stow, my bad. Yeah, but you can hear here like with the high pass, it's a little bit more thick, but here there's a bit more it's a little bit more clarity in the detail, you know. So, and I think this song just uses a weird groove here, and I think that's because I have it going at double tempo, which is originally what I had my track running on in NerdSeek, and for whatever reason, this specific behavior is what makes it sound the kind of bumpy, swingy sound that it has. So,
Is it a special groove or something, or?
Not particularly. I think 8/4 in LSDJ is like a really heavy swing.
Yeah.
But since it's moving at twice,
It's a lighter swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives it a really cool swingy sound, and just makes it sound really good with like if I do just the percussive stuff here. Yeah, it sounds pretty nice. Yeah, and then just a little, you know. Yeah, and I like doing this where I don't have to waste a bunch of patterns, since all the notes are tied to slices, so you can just transpose it. Very handy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. This is just FM.
So you could have like left your NerdSeek like track the same, and then just couldn't you do MIDI to the M8 to have that play the sound?
Actually though, I don't have the MIDI expander for it anymore.
Oh.
So I wouldn't be able to, unless suddenly the M8 was able to accept CV and gate. So you should get on that for the next version.
Oh, I have a CV and gate thing. Yeah, that's already done.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well,
yeah,
look at that.
Polyan sells it.
Oh. Yeah. So you know, I actually had thought about that. I was like, oh, maybe I could just get the NerdSeek to send MIDI and then just write all the notes for me. But it was more fun to kind of just build it from scratch, like painstakingly, one note at a time. It's great.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
I wish I was there.
I don't know if I have anything else here? No. I think this isn't anything. Oh, this uses some cool FM hi-hats. Here. Oh, you can't hear the panning. There's all. So this is kind of cool actually. So I got really lazy with the hi-hats. Instead of putting them all in, I just used retriggers, and then I used the same instrument for the closed and open hats by just changing the decay on it. So actually, I think they're actually doing little toms here, but I think there's actual hats. Here, this I lied. This one I got less lazy, but yeah, the here at the end, it's doing an open hat. Yeah.
And I take it you're not using the beta, right? On this.
This is this original song. I did not make the beta, but this is the current beta.
Oh, okay.
Something.
Okay. I noticed the retrig 0 command. I'm like, is this an old track or?
Was there a retrig 0 somewhere?
Yeah, but it was probably intentional. I don't know.
Really? I'm looking for it now.
I could be
There's
losing my mind. We have
Are you sure it
footage.
wasn't-
we could look later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure wasn't this decay?
I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind here.
I'm scanning through. I think you're just insane.
Yeah.
Which is
I
nothing new.
I already said I'm losing my mind. So
Yeah, so there's that. It's cool. So if you're trying to make some cool, you want to try to be lazy, just retrigger your hi-hat once and then just change the decay envelope and just shape it. So yeah, it pays to be lazy sometimes. So I think that's the only thing new that I have. That's it. Thank you, everybody. That's all I got.
that was a wonderful TED Talk.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a jerk sometimes.
It's okay. I've learned to accept these things and roll with the punches.
So Impbox sent a track that I could go ahead and play. Let me reset up my stuff. Not that one. That one. And it's called Vamp Detect Die. Okay. I think that's how you pronounce it. Had to do an impromptu fade out. Thanks so much for sharing that. Right. I wonder if I have any garbage tracks I could show as well that I made. Sorry. Not that anybody else's tracks were garbage, just mine are. Let's see. I have one that I shared on, I think Twitter once, and I stumbled across it. But maybe I won't be able to find it now that I'm looking for it. But it was kind of doing the resampling scratch thing as well. I think I made it when I was working on the resampling, the rendering features. Where would that be? I think this is it. Yeah, this has to be it. To reset my volume here. Whoa. It just jumps right into it. But this is interesting because what I did is, as we've kind of shown before, I took I rendered just this one row and then loaded it back in as a sample. And then started tweaking the sample by itself. Yeah. So I thought that was a good little demo of doing the kind of scratching effects.
Some excellent turntablism.
Yeah, I did some crabbing and recorded it via... No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you get the idea. It's kind of a cool feature, I think, for what it is. I love how seamless it actually sounds. That's what surprised me the most when I first tried it. Pleasantly surprised that it just kind of goes into it and you don't even realize that it switched to a rendered version of it. But yeah, I don't know if I have any other neat things in here. It's all just junk, except for Brightface's track is sitting in there. Yeah, and every time I load a song and I don't even change it and I go to load again, this is what we're gonna get because this new beta adds a bunch of new features. So when you load in the song, a bunch of things change behind the scenes. So I imagine that little warning screen is gonna get a little annoying until you resave your songs. It's the price we pay. Small price for features, I guess. Anyways, on that note, I'm pretty much decided on the production M8s. I forgot to mention this previously, but I'm pretty decided on keeping the hotswap sockets now that I've tested it out on 10 boards. It's a pretty solid feeling. So for those that ordered an M8 and would rather have clicky keys, etc., you might want to get either like a guitar pick or a plastic, you know, like those iFixit little plastic screwdriver-y things to kind of pry off the keys that it comes with. Obviously, using something metal would be a terrible idea because you'll end up scratching it. but it's not super easy to get off with your fingers. It's kind of hard pressed in there. But yeah,
Still very exciting. I'm glad I got those Robin keys because I love how they feel.
yeah, me too. It was oh, there. I have a little funny story this morning. I got a bug report from somebody, and they sent me a bundle, and the instrument had a chance on it, and it was like, say it's a phrase with a chance with only one note on it, and it's the first note, right? And I don't remember what the chance was, like maybe 50% of the time. But I was trying to track down this issue, and I hit play, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I wasn't in the song screen. I was like in the instrument screen. And I hit play, and I didn't hear anything. And I like hit play again, and then I heard something, and I kept hitting play, and I'm like, oh, these hot swap sockets must be crap, because this key is broken. And I like kept like I spent like 5 minutes. I started dissecting the key, and it turns out it's all because I forgot that there was a chance on that instrument trigger. So like I kept hitting start. Like why is this key like sometimes not starting the song? And it turns out it was totally working fine, and it was just the chance. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably overworked. But yeah, the hot swap sockets feel very solid, and yeah, I made the some of the holes that the key kind of grabs into. I made them just a hair like I think like sub 0.2 millimeters smaller, so that way it really kind of grabs onto the PCB when you push it in. So I think that helped a lot. But yeah, I think that's it for this meetup. Unless anybody has any other bundles or questions, I could answer.
Thanks again for adding the DJ filter. It's a lot of fun, and I love accidentally bumping it when I'm working on something and wondering why everything gets quiet.
I did the same thing like 2 days ago. I thought I hit a bug because all the audio stopped, and I was like, oh no, it's getting some kind of weird dropout now or something. And yeah, it was totally my finger hit I assigned it to the screen, and I totally forgot, and it was like, on 0 low pass. So it was just no audio.
But for real, it's super nice. I love having it. It's gonna be really handy for when I'm finally doing live performances again. You're more or less making my Pioneer mixer obsolete, and I can just use the little write-in now because I don't need the filter knobs anymore. So thanks for that.
So there's been quite a few times in my live performance life where I had a lot of equipment. Like one time I played in Seattle at like the Folklife Festival thing. This is probably like 2010 or something. And I had like one of those turntable coffins that's like for a single turntable, like stuffed with gear. And then I had like my backpack that was filled with like MIDI controller and laptop and all that stuff. And I had like all this equipment I had to like lug across that like area. I don't remember what that area is called with the, the needle, the sky needle thing or whatever.
Oh, yep.
But I'd like walk across this whole thing with this crowd in the way and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I bring too much gear to shows. It's always such a nightmare. And then another time, like a New York gig, I had like, I had a really, really big DJ mixer. It was only a 4-channel DJ mixer, but it was like the size of a Technics 1200. It was like huge. And everybody else had like, backpack or like, a couple Game Boys, etc. I'm like, man, I just really want to have a smaller portable but still live setup. And I think I think that's what I'm doing subconsciously this entire time, is trying to make my my finally a portable thing where I could have like 2 of them, and it not weigh 1,000,000 pounds when I go play somewhere.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, I think I have even like a KP3 that I was planning to use when I'm like traveling, but I think I might just get a KP Mini since it's like AA battery powered and just run the Raiden into the KP2 Mini or the KP2 Mini and then
Right.
into my outs, and it's just I have all my effects. I have all my it's been highly uh, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very very efficient footprint now,
Right.
and I'm very excited about that.
Me too. What do you use the KP Mini for? Like what effects or whatever?
Mostly, I really like looper or like beat repeat stuff.
Oh, the beat repeat stuff, yeah.
Yeah, beat repeat because there's a lot of effects where it's like beat repeat plus filter sweep
Right.
or bit crush and stuff like that, and it's nice to have those, be able to do both of them at the same time.
Yeah, I have one of those too. I recently took it out like maybe a couple weeks ago, and I guess I forgot to take out the batteries. And it was like super corroded and totally almost destroyed, but I was managed to fix it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really, really, really handy.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the Fader Fox stuff. Like I grabbed I think this one's the DJ4 little MIDI controller guy. But I think my setup's gonna basically be 2 M8s and that thing. And I'll use that Radeon DJ mixer if I need to, but I'm hoping I don't need to because I just want to have like the simplest setup ever and still be able to feel like I'm doing a lot live, Because that's also a key component for myself is like if I'm just up there and hitting play or something, I feel like a fraud. Like, and I know other people do that, but they could dance, they could perform, they could interact with the crowd, they could talk to the crowd, they could sing. I can't do any of it. Like, I'm not good at any of that stuff. So I need to feel like I'm actively participating in the music that's playing. So, yeah, for me, it's always like the constant hunt and struggle of like having the perfect gear to really have that live feeling. Also, the rush of like knowing that you could totally mess up. I kind of like having some of that anxiety.
Yeah, there's some fun to that. I definitely got that when I was doing my big Euro rack rig. Just grabbing a tune knob instead of the cutoff of a filter and just listening to your whole track dive bomb.
Sorry, that's hilarious though. Grabbing the tune knob and just yeah. That sounds like a really common thing with like a Eurorack kind of setup where you have a lot of shit going everywhere.
If I were not making really musical stuff with it, I could take it to like a modular synth meetup and people would be like impressed. They'd be like, "Oh wow." Just grabbing tune knobs.
Well, that's what isn't that what's Eurorack's for?
Yeah, it's just.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have some Eurorack stuff, but I try to stay away from it because I know how much of a money pit it could be. And knowing me, I'll just end up making the world's most expensive single voice subtractive synthesizer using this giant Eurorack rig.
I was seriously just thinking. I was on Modular Grid. Sometimes I just start putting together a little synth again because I'm like, oh, I miss doing it. It's kind of fun. And then I realized I made like a $1,600 mono synth that does less than my actual mono synths, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is not the right thing I want to do.
I guess that's what people say. Like that's a rookie kind of mistake with Eurorack is like getting all this stuff and then setting it up the way you would a traditional synthesizer. But that's totally what I end up doing anyway. I don't know. I guess I'm not that experimental when it comes to that stuff. That and what always worries me is like having no way to have a save state. But I guess one could look at that like a creative limitation and a way for you to actually get something done. But for me, I always worry that like, oh, I need to record this, and then it's going to be a stale recording where I can't modify it later. You know, I start getting into all that junk.
I actually think there are Eurorack modules where you can save the CV parameters and then it will just send them out.
But isn't half the fun like
Yes, yes. it is.
repatching and cabling everything?
But what's cool is when I was the module in question, you can actually set up a step sequencer to cycle through the different presets, so you can have that running and it'll just
That sounds like M8.
it's like a macro. Yeah, it's the M8.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I guess we should call it. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks Mikey for filling in my awkward silence with words. And I hope to see you all again in 2 weeks when we do another one of these.
Thank you.
And hopefully that beta will be out soon. I know at this point it should be more stable than the current stable version, quote unquote. But I just want to make sure I got all the features in there, or not necessarily features, but like help messages and all that kind of stuff for the production unit, because I want that 1.4.0 to be the firmware that ships with the units. So, but yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.